This video is going to show you how to make fantastic interactive choose your own adventure games with Twine. So with Twine, it's going to have a certain level of computational thinking to create your game. You can also add in code to enhance your game. So you're going to visit twinery.org and you're going to download the old version of OS X. So along here, it's version 1.4.2 and you're going to click that link and it will download straight to your desktop. You're then going to install it and open it, and that should take maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes. It's a very small, very small file. The reason we use the old one is that all the support materials for the old one, and I just think it's much easier to use. So when you open it up, you're going to have these 3 boxes. It's very important not to change the name of these 3 boxes. I'm going to go into story author. Again, I'm going to leave that the same, but I'm going to change my name there. Story title, Monsters at AIS. And I'm going to then go in and develop my first part of the story. You find yourself at school late at night. You have no idea how you got here, and you have no idea why. You start to explore the school, trying to find a way out. But in the distance, you can hear a dull thud. Do you move towards the noise or away from the noise? And you can see I'm putting on these brackets around my text. There's 2 square brackets either side. That's going to turn that text into a destination. When you play the game, you can click on those. It's going to take you to the next part of the story. And they're red at the moment because those boxes have not been created. What I'm going to do is press X here, and it's going to ask me to create them. Yes, and you'll see it builds on. So I'm going to go to the away from the noise. You run away as fast as you can, but every door is locked. You check the windows too. All locked. There is no escape. The noise is getting closer. You have no option but to find out what the noise is. And you can see that my box there is blue. That's because that part of the story has already been created. It's important to know this because if you have a story and every 2 seconds you're asking your character to answer a question with yes or no, unless you change the word yes, it's going to take you back to the same part of the story. If you want to have yes or no, for example, you could have yes, you could have yes, yeah, definitely, of course. There's different ways that you can phrase it. So I'm going to close that, and you can see the root of my story. So in that first one, I run away from the noise, but then unfortunately I have to go to the noise. And here you can say, oh no, there is a terrible monster in the hallway. You are terrified. Do you scream, run away, or approach the monster? And you can see you can put as many options as you want. And when I close that, it's going to create all those things. So you could make a really complex story. You could have them go into several different endings. You could even have endings like, oh no, you failed the game, go back to the start. And if you put the start in those brackets, because this one here is called start, it will take you there. You can also have multiple endings, or you can have them all routing back to the same endings. Maybe if they make all the right choices, the ending is shorter. As you can see, to say this was the end, I can get there in 2 boxes, or I can go in 3 boxes. So it's really up to you. That's going to really develop your computational thinking, your logic, maybe even problem solving, and also your storytelling. But there are ways that you can make it even cooler. So you can add in some URL, some HTML to really enhance your game. The most simple version of this is adding in images. So I'm going to go to this page, and maybe I want to have a monster here. So I can do this in 2 ways. The HTML for images looks like this. So it's that little triangle, img / src equals speech mark, little closing triangle. And what you need to do is find a URL. So you're going to go to Google image search and you're going to find your monster. So I'm going to choose, I think I'm going to choose this monster here. When you found one, go to view image, not visit page. That's going to give you the URL just for the image. So now I can go back here and I can put in that information right there. Okay. When I close it and I go to test my story, I'll test it right from the beginning. I'm going to go to build and test play. And you can see here it's taken my information from the thing called story author and story title. I'm going to move straight towards the noise and my image is there. There is actually an even easier way of putting the image in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually drag this image to my desktop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one out. There's no image. And I'm going to go to story, import image from file. And from my desktop, I'm going to put that picture of the monster in. You'll see it goes to that separate box. In fact, let me just delete that one. I'll do it again because something cool pops up, which I just closed by mistake. So when you import it, it gives you this code, and this code is actually one that's going to feed straight from your thing. You can see it's not connected to anything, which is fine. In here, I can copy that code that it gives me straight in. And if you're wondering, it's image. That's all. So in between these two boxes here, that's where you put the name. You can see here it says monster2, and the reason for that is that the file I imported is called monster2. Okay, there's some even cooler things. You might want to stop there and just have your code, or this. You might want to add in something even better. So I'm going to show you how to add in randomizations. This means that the game is slightly different. It says there is a terrible monster in the hallway. I'm going to change that slightly. So I'm going to just make some space so it's easy. There is A, and I'm going to do print either, and I'm going to have terrible, smelly, scary, might even put in one more, mean. Okay. All this information is in the cheat sheet and it's really easy to use. I'm going to make sure that I have this, make sure I've still got my space there. So each time you go read the story, it's going to look slightly different. So if we close that now, I'm going to do build, test it from this page. So it's going to say, there is a smelly monster. Let's go to restart. And now, if I go back to the beginning, it should let me. Let me go back from here then. So I'm going to go, I'm just going to test it again. Test play from the noise. And this time my monster is also smelly. So let's refresh the page. See, and now it says scary. That's a nice way of making your story a bit different each time. It's also a really good way to test out some cool vocabulary. Now I'm going to show you my final little hack, which I really like. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to move this part of the story to the second page. So I'm just going to copy all of this information. And I'm going to make a new page called begin. Okay, so I've just moved the story, so it's basically the same as before, but we have an extra page first. In this page, what I'm going to ask is it's going to ask people to give me some information. So I'm going to say, hello, you are about to start an adventure which contains monsters. Before we begin, I would like to know your name. And so every time someone plays this, the name's going to be different, right? So what we're going to have here is we're going to do text input $, and you can call this whatever you want. I'm going to call it player name. And then I'm going to have these extra boxes. So the button I want them to do is, I'm going to get them to press a continue button. And then that button is going to take them to the page which I've called begin. I'm going to close this. Okay, so this should work. Okay, so it's gone blue. So that looks quite complicated, but what's the point of me just knowing the name? We're going to want to say the name. So now I'm going to get to this first page and said, it's going to say, welcome to the challenge. And I'm going to print their name. It's going to say print, and then I called it player name, right? Okay, so this should work now. Let's go to the beginning. I'm going to test the game. So it starts off. Ooh, okay, let's just check my error so I can debug this. Continue player name. Let's have a quick look. Text input. Aha, okay, so hopefully some of you saw my awful spelling. So this should work now. Okay, you have to be 100% accurate, otherwise coding doesn't work. So before we begin, I would like to know your name. My name is Miss Dutton. Okay, continue. Welcome to the challenge, Miss Dutton. So it took that information and put it straight in my story. So you can recall this name as many times as you want. So throughout the story, it might be like, good work, Miss Dutton, or good work, whatever the person has put in. You don't have to just have that one. So I did text input and I called it player name. However, you could have multiple things. So you could say, what's your favourite colour? And it could be $colour. In fact, the game could go, wow, you see a print colour, whatever, and so it can recall that information. That makes it really, really interactive. Now, you have the Twine cheat sheet that's going to help you make your story even more advanced. You can do a simple story, or you can start really playing around with HTML. When you're finished, you're going to save your file as a Twine file. You're also going to want to do build story, and that's going to save it as an HTML. When you have finished your story and it's an HTML, should save to your desktop, send me it and I will make it go live. So at the moment, if you open it on your computer, it's going to work. If you send that link to someone else, it's not going to work. So send me the link and we can make it so anyone in the world can play. I hope you're enjoying making Twine. I think Twine's really easy to make and you can make some really cool things with it.